we're going to do signal moves. This is a whole series of movements that you can do with the hoop that tell the hoop what you want it to do, change parameters of the hoop and so forth. And we're going to turn the hoop on in the quiet quiver, the switch at the top, hoop vertical. And we're going to backflip to the hoop that's just before the default hoop in the quiet quiver. So one backflip and we get to this segmented hoop. So it has different sections that light up and disappear. And the idea of this hoop is for you to play with the kind of movements that you're going to do when you signal the hoop. So what we can do is with the left hand we can do a slow clockwise isolation, and notice when you're about 2 o'clock with the switch, this yellow bar appears. That's the indicator for the 3 o'clock position, so it's moving into that at about 2, and it'll stay there for a while. And then when you get to about 5 o'clock you get the red signal, which is for the bottom orientation with the switch at the bottom and the hoop vertical. If we carry on with the isolation, we can use our right hand as a guide here. You don't have to do one-handed isolations. You get here about 8 o'clock, you're going to get a pink bar, which is to show you that you're in the 9 o'clock horizontal orientation with the switch here. And if we carry on with the isolation, we're going to get our turquoise indicator, which is the indicator that comes on for the quiet quiver, the vertical indicator. So these indicators are the same as the colors that appear when you turn the hoop on in different orientations. So if I do another rotation with the hoop, you'll see them appear sequentially. Yellow will be first, then red, pink, turquoise. So if we go backwards, pink, red, pink, turquoise. So what we're doing is those kind of moves are the kind of moves that we'll do when we actually do signal moves. So it's good to take this hoop out and play with it. Do a very, very slow front flip. You don't want to go fast enough to signal an actual flip. What you're doing is trying to show the orientation. So you see that purple color? That's a horizontal with the switch up color. That would be the kicks quiver color. If we continue a very slow front flip, we'll get to the bottom. We carry on again. We will get to the switch down horizontal orientation. There it is, blue. So that gives you the 6 different orientations. The horizontal down, horizontal up, vertical, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, vertical again. So with this hoop you can play going back and forth, holding it in an orientation, watching the colors disappear. The length of time you hold it's also important, because when you do a signal move you're doing a successive series of moves and you want all the colors or the previous color to stay there while you complete the move, so you can't take too long. But play with this hoop until you get the idea of what's communicating to the hoop in terms of orientations, because the signal moves all use orientations. What we're going to do now is the first signal move that will help us in this hoop, so that it'll lock the display, it'll lock us into this one hoop, and no matter what moves we make, if it's flips or not, we'll stay in this hoop. So that's an important move to learn. And we're going to lock this hoop by doing our signal move. Hoop is now locked. So here we start. So we've got our segmented hoop and it's locked. We can flip it in any direction and it stays in the segmented hoop, showing us the different orientations. And we can play with this for a while, and I really advise that you do until you get used to the colors that appear on each orientation and how fast you can move the hoop and how long you can wait before the colors disappear. So if we want to unlock this hoop, we do the same move. It's a toggle move, so one move turns it on, one move turns it off. So to clear the hoop of locked and be able to flip into another hoop, do the same move. And the first part of the move is called an isoflip. And that means isolation and flip. And then this is called a halfback, down to the bottom and back. And now the white signal showed us that we have cleared the hoop. So if we go in a front flip, we should be back in our default first hoop of the quiet quiver. We go a back flip and we're back in that segmented hoop. But this time, you know, if it's not locked and I do a fairly regular front flip, I'm going to go into another hoop, or a back flip, I'll go into another hoop. So that was the lock display move. Let's do the lock display move again in the first hoop of the quiet quiver, which is turning the hoop on with the switch vertical facing you at the top. And here's the lock display move. It's an isoflip. A right hand isoflip means I start with the right hand, I do my isolation, flip, and then I go down to the bottom, halfway around and back. Let's do the lock display move in the first hoop of the quiet quiver. The switch is up the top facing me. My right hand's going to do the move. This is a right hand isoflip, so isolate, flip, half back down to the bottom and back. The hoop flashed blue to tell me it's now locked. So this first hoop in the quiet quiver is a hoop that changes colors based on angle and so forth. So you can get some nice different colors appearing when you do various moves. And that is the first hoop in the quiet quiver, and it's locked. We can't get out of it by flipping either way, like a back flip or a front flip doesn't work. So to unlock it, we do the same move again. Right hand isoflip, right hand, flip, half back. Hoop goes white for an instant, meaning it's now unlocked. So now if I flip it, front flip, I'll get into a different display. Here's a new hoop. Or if I go back to the first hoop in the default, then I can go back again to that segmented hoop in the first quiver. I did another flip. Sometimes the hoop will recognize a half flip, so you know it's quite sensitive. So if you do just a little bit of a move, sometimes you flip the hoop, and you can learn to work with that. That's one hoop, that's another hoop. So it sometimes doesn't take a complete revolution to signal a flip move to the hoop. But we're unlocked, that was the main point. And that move is the lock display move. It's a right hand isoflip, that's what it's called, and then a half back. So why don't we do it just one more time. I'll face away from you. We'll get into a recognizable hoop we haven't seen before, maybe like this one, which is a fading hoop with spaces in between the lights. We will lock this one, so I do my right hand isoflip here and half back. I get a blue confirmation, and now flipping the hoop, it stays locked in that particular hoop. This is a fading hoop, fades all through the colors and stuff, and you can change all these parameters. We'll learn how to do that later.